What's up, guys? Welcome to Spliff Talk again. Today we have a very good friend of mine. His name is Ezra, and we're gonna talk to him, and we're gonna get to know him a little bit for the next hour or so. And we're gonna talk about a lot of different topics that me and him have talked about in the past. And I hope you guys enjoy. But anyway, enough introduction. This is Ezra. Ezra, how you doing?
Hi, Wolf. I'm doing great. Thanks. Thanks for having me here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hanging in there. Doing this podcast out of my room. I don't always have to go to the studio to do it. I like to, especially when it's online, especially like because you're in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, no, most people think the Netherlands. I'm in Amsterdam, but I'm on the other side of the country, but the distances are really small. So it's 1 hour away of Amsterdam, and that's the other end of on the other end of the country.
Okay. All right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you've been to Amsterdam?
No, I want to go though. I've heard many crazy things about Amsterdam, but I'm not sure how much of it's
That's
true because I've heard like over there they have like the best weed ever. Like they have like so many different strains, so many different things that you can do with weed. I've heard that prostitution is legal.
This is how do you call it? This is Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
No, but yeah, your coffee shops are legal, and it's becoming a little bit different than a few years ago. So I think also here it's becoming a little bit more, how do you say, strict, but still you can get it every, and also in shops there are special shops for it. But when you come over, we do some, but I like to do organic stuff.
Yeah, yeah. No, and we're gonna talk about that because you have a business in selling organic foods, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have an own web shop with organic superfoods and supplements. Yes.
So tell me more about that so that I can, so the people who are watching us they can understand what exactly you do.
Yeah. So for 10 years ago, I came on the path of holistic health. I'm 42, so I'm age 32. I got a depression, and that was for me a wake up call that I was done with everything in the past. I wanted to change, and then I also found, holistic health came on my path, and from there on, I'm eating all organic, biodynamic most of my time, especially when I buy and eat it at home myself. And 6 months ago, and in those 10 years, I give exercise training, lifestyle coaching. So a few times before already, people or companies wanted to sell them their supplements or wanted me to sell their supplements, but most of the time I didn't want to, because for me, I have to know which is the source of uh, the food and the ingredients and the supplements. So I've never found an organic superfoods company before. And 6 months ago, I did a 10-day transformation cleanse with those superfoods. And that was really mind-blowing because then I really felt the power of food. So before, I never found a company like this and with this quality of ingredients. And this company really fits my own core values, and I use them in daily life a lot. Yeah.
Okay. And now you said that you started 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, I started 10 years ago with coaching people.
Coaching
But,
people.
but the superfoods opportunity business, I'm just doing since 6 months. But before, I was a personal trainer, an exercise coach. and
Okay.
holistic lifestyle coach. Yeah, yeah.
So like 10 years ago, before you started coaching people, what made you aware of that you needed to change, how you ate and what you did with your body? Like what made you want to do that?
Yeah, it had to do because I was really unhappy. I was really depressed. I did everything society and my parents believed that was good for me. So I did like education. I was the, how do you say it? The kindest and most obedient person in a student in the class and everything. And but I wasn't aware, so I did everything. But and still I was very, very unhappy.
Okay.
And that was the essence really. And at age 20 I unexpectedly became a father. That really completely changed my life because I didn't had the chance to see my son. A lot of difficulties behind that. I was a almost a pro soccer player, but most of my youth I played as a talented youth player with pro soccer clubs. So I was, yeah, destined to be an athlete, but then I became a father unexpectedly. My life completely changed. I
Hmm.
got to work in fabrics and warehouses. Yeah, and I was really, really unhappy. And that was the cause of depression. I had a lot of ailments like, for example, allergies and all lots of complaints. But most important, I had low self-esteem and low self-confidence. And at age 32, apparently I was I was done with that because I couldn't find a job, because every job I applied to I saw, this I can do, I'm not good in that. So I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs. So it took for me, I guess, the depression to wake up and to yeah, that I wanted to change.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, like I know I've dealt with depression myself as well. And hold on, I think we have some internet problems. But can you still hear me? Okay, we're
Yeah,
good.
I can
Oh,
hear
okay,
you.
all right. No, so like yeah, I understand you perfectly because like you said that you always like try to follow the rules. You were a good student, but you were still like you still ended up being depressed because you didn't really know what was your calling, right? Like you didn't really know what you wanted to do with your life. And I feel like a lot of people deal with that, especially I mean, I've dealt with it myself because, I tell my people that, I grew up in a very strict Christian home. So like, you have that battle of meeting your parents' expectations and at the same time trying to figure out what really makes you happy. And sometimes what makes you happy, not everyone agrees with, and you trying to like make everybody else happy, sometimes you end up losing yourself, and it creates a lot of unhealthy problems, not just depression, but also, poor eating habits, poor addicting habits, you know so I understand you perfectly when it comes to that.
Yeah, talking about that because my mother is Dutch, she's white, and my father is from Malacca, Indonesia. And in the Malaccan culture, you're not allowed to go against somebody who is older than you. So those cultural things, I really, at a young age, I was a young rebel because I think that I understand understood then already that, yeah, that's not okay. Respect. I have respect for everybody. So it doesn't mean that if you are older that you don't have respect for somebody who's younger. So all those kinds of things, and also the religion, from the Malaccan side, my father's side. My grandmother was the boss of the family, like in the in mafia in mob movies. Like she was the boss, and I always had to go to church on Sunday, but I didn't believe in it. So I found it
Hmm.
very hypocrite for me to go. So
Hmm.
that was also something at a young age that I said no, that I don't want to do, and that caused a lot of uh, problems
So like it caused a lot of problems with your parents.
Yeah, not yeah, with my parents, but mainly also with my grandmother, because
Mm.
she was the boss of the family in the Malaccan culture. So, but I said to her, I'm not going to do it. And now you don't love me anymore? And that she couldn't resist. So she still loved me. So I said, okay, then it's okay.
No, it's funny though because like people who have these old school traditions, they find if you I can understand them, especially like your grandma, like they came from a different time, so it's like very hard for them to let go of like old school beliefs, you know. My family is kind of the same way, they really hold on to their old school beliefs, like they don't, it's like they don't want to accept there's a possibility that there's another truth, you know. And it's kind of why like I try to stay away from religion, because I left church when I was 18. I went to the military to get away from it, get away from my family. And when I went to the military, it was the first time ever that I was like free, exposed to the world. Like my whole life I felt like I was living in a box, and then now like this box is open and I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like I don't even know. Like, I had my first beer when I was 20 years old, in the military, because over there you have a lot of like guys who are like from the country and they're like drinking beers and stuff like that. And when they found out that I never drank in my life, they gave me a course, a 40 ounce, and I drank like five of them. And I was so drunk, I was like, what the hell?
Ah, yeah. It's also a nice experience, right? To have that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't even smoke my first joint until 2015. So that was only like 5 years ago when I first started smoking weed.
And in the States, is there good weed? And is it organic or is it legal?
Well, in New York City and New Jersey, it's only been approved medically. So you need like a medical card, right? New York is still like trying to figure it out a lot. Where in Jersey, they're already like dispensaries for medical people who have the medical cards and stuff. I've gone to California and I've tried the weed from over there, and I've compared it to the weed that I get on the streets over here. And it's actually pretty good quality because, I know people who have connections and they find their way to get stuff from other states. So like I usually have been pretty lucky, for someone who only started smoking 5 years. I've actually tried many different kinds of strains from all around. And I have a few favorites, but normally like they're very fresh, especially I don't even know how these guys do it. They get it delivered to them and it actually comes really fresh and it's not really dry. Maybe in my like early years, sometimes you meet a few sellers who don't really care about their customers and they sell you like bad weed. I've had a couple of those where like I smoked like a fat one and then like it didn't even get me high. It was just like, what the hell? I feel like I just smoked nothing, you know? So it's been different experiences, but overall I've tried pretty good stuff, you know?
Beautiful thing about it is that, yeah, it's just a herbal medicine, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the strange part, right? That we have to talk about if it's legal or illegal, because it just is it's a plant. And the only thing is that also here in the Netherlands we have a lot of coffee shops,
Right.
but I think most of them are not organic because they are sprayed with chemicals, like just like the food and everything. So that's not really healthy. But if you can have real organic one, yeah, then it could benefit, of course, also your health. And
Mhm.
it's I think it's a plant medicine. It's a healthy herb.
I agree with you. Like, I've always had these conversations with people about that, about the fact that, this is a plant that for years has been proven to not only be beneficial to pain, to stress, depression, anxiety, but, every strain has different specific health benefits, and like, even like you were talking about organic, being grown outside versus being grown inside, and I've tried both. And a lot of the times, if especially with the ones that I pick, they don't have much of a difference. I know that indoor, the THC becomes more potent, because it's more a controlled environment, where organic sometimes is a hit or miss. You know, I also feel like there should be, like, a lot of people don't really do their research because especially me, like when I was younger, I was very arrogant. Since I grew up in church and stuff like that, I knew that my older brothers and sisters smoked, because they didn't go to church, and like I would be like, oh, that's the devil's lettuce, like, oh, it's not good for you, oh, that thing stinks, oh, why you like, so, oh, it kills brain cells, but the interesting part is that when you start to study weed, you find out that it has different effects on people, and that's stuff that should even be more research on why, like, for certain people, when they smoke, they get even worse anxiety, or they get like paranoid and things like that, versus people like me that you smoke weed and it just gives you like a nice high, it gives you like a stimulus, like it helps you relax, so like those are the type of things that I kind of wanted to paint the podcast about, to talk to different people about the different experiences, so that people can have a different perspective on it.
Yeah. I read your introduction and it also said the Spliff Talk. So I found it funny. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, for example, I didn't, so like I'm doing with the superfoods, with the supplements, if it's wheat or if it's food, I want to know where it's from, which is the source.
Right.
Is it sprayed with chemicals, or is it really clean? Is the soil um, treated with respect, and the animals on and everything?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I didn't smoke for a long time in the normal coffee shops. But sometimes there are people who organically farm it themselves, and that is good. But lately, the last few years, I also used, we call it wheat drops. So it's liquid. So they I don't know how they do it, but they make it liquid, and then I don't have to smoke cigarettes or everything. So just a drop of it. It's real concentrated. So it's really nice. So it's nice for example for sleep. But to be honest, when I do it, I also do it because of the high and the relaxation, of course.
Right, right. No, yeah, and those are like tinctures, right? That they sell.
Yeah, tinctures. Yeah.
Like it's concentrated oil, right? They have like a CBD
Yeah.
version and
What's
THC.
now legal, and I guess also in the USA, is CBD oil is of course legal, but here it's the THC is also in it, so that's why you also get the high of it. So
Yeah, like in California, they sell the CBD they sell over there is mixed with a little bit of THC, because I was speaking to people over there and they explained to me that CBD works best when it has a little bit of THC in it, so that way it like stimulates it in your body, like over here, like in Jersey, they sell CBD but it has like no THC whatsoever, which is not exactly good, because even though it still does its effect, I feel like you still need that THC to help balance it out. Because, for example, like I'm a cigarette smoker, so I'm trying to quit, and I'm like, right now I've actually done pretty well. Like I don't smoke as much cigarettes because I've been replacing it with weed, but I wish that I had like a CBD product that has enough THC in it to give me the effect that I get from cigarettes, because in California, when I had the CBD pens, since they had like, let's say like 0.5, or like not even 0.5, I think it's like 5% THC in it. That gives you kind of like this effect where you don't feel the need to go to nicotine to relax yourself.
because here I'm doing the superfoods business over here but here in Europe we don't have it, but in the States we also have CBD. So maybe I can give you the link later on. But to be honest, I'm not a real expert on it. But for what I know is, so I'm new in the business here, but the CBD oil is really good. But I don't know if there's and how much CBD in it. But I can send you the link. But what I know from own experience here, before I did the superfoods, we just had people making the tinctures themselves, and then there was THC in it, and yeah, the THC could all because weed, marijuana is a plant that heals. That's for I don't know how long it exists already. So it's an healing herb. Yeah.
Like, I when it comes to like certain Christians, like my mom, when she found out that I smoke weed, she thought that I was like going crazy. Like, she thought that I was gonna like become like this crackhead or something, you know. And people don't realize, like, there's been this debate because a lot of people don't know that, and some people think that they know that weed has what's it called, a cancer carcinogen, right? A carcinogen in it, right? But it also has an anti-carcinogen in it, right? Which is why I was watching this like video where it was proved that no one has ever died from weed. You can't even like overdose on it, because if you overdose, you just knock out. Like, you just fall asleep.
Probably the carcinogen is from the cigarettes. And why things are also so addictive is not all people think about the nicotine and everything, but it is also, in some kind of way, they process sugar in it. And sugar is the most addicted substance on the planet. And that is the real part. So it's not the weed, and depends or whatever, but weed itself is just a plant, it's a herb. But I think that the most poisoned aspect would be the cigarette itself, with the nicotine and with the sugar in it. And it's more the burning of the paper also, which makes it more poisoned. So for example, if you just go to vape it in a good vapor, then, so for example, for you, we call that, in my coaching, we call that rainbow bridges. So a rainbow bridge, for example, for stop smoking. So you can also buy real organic tobacco. I don't know the brand, I will look it up for you, but it's also tobacco, and depending on the really commercial produced tobacco, or tobacco, nature's tobacco, is also as healing capacities. So if you can find that organic tobacco without pesticides and everything, and you vape it, that is a rainbow bridge for maybe stop quitting smoking. You don't have to burn the paper. There's no nicotine and everything in it. So maybe that is a suggestion you can to bridge it. And for example, you can also vape in a vaporizer, smoke the weed.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Because I've heard that smoking the paper itself, and all the aspects of a cigarette, really makes it addictive. But now, I didn't know what you said about it having sugar. I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's not that there's sugar in it, but in some kind of way there's a process, so there's sugar in it, and sugar is an addictive substance.
Right.
So most of us are addicted because sugar is everywhere. So that is the biggest crime, I guess, that on every corner, on every, they give us sugar, and they give us sugar from that we are a baby. So sugar is the most addictive stuff. It's more addictive than heroin itself. And that's why when I came on this path 10 years ago, there was also a lot of anger and frustration, because I thought, okay, but the government and everything, they say they want the best for us, but okay, why can we get sugar on every corner, and why is organic food so expensive and difficult to get it?
Hmm.
So
No, it's very true because, like you said, it's very important to know the source of the things that we put into our body. Like, I wish that we had an easier way to like have access to organic foods. Because to me, wouldn't organic foods be a lot more cheaper than processed food? Because food that's processed, it has to be processed. They have to use all these extra things, all these extra chemicals just to make it last a while. Where organic food, like you only have a limited of time to eat it. Like once it's taken off the plant, it should go from market to your stomach. That's it. Like it should be the fastest route. You know.
yeah, the difference between commercially farmed food and organic food is that commercially farmed food is, yeah, it's poisoned with chemicals, but is produced on a soil which also sprayed with chemicals. So the organisms in the soil are dead, and therefore people have to know, have to have knowledge about soil health. Because if you know what the health of the soil is and why it's so important, that the organisms, the bacteria, the fungi, the parasites in it, everything has its part in the process. But on commercially farming, that's totally depleted soils. So the plants and the vegetables that grow are empty. I call it, it's empty food. And
Mhm.
if you eat, for example, the difference, because I don't know, lettuce, organic lettuce or biodynamic farmed lettuce and organically farmed, really you taste the difference. The commercially farmed is really empty. It feels like nothing. And the other one is really tasty. It's, you have to work to you have to chew, and you feel the hardness and yeah, and the fibers and everything. And yeah, that's one of the differences between commercially farmed and biodynamic farmed or organic farmed. Another thing I also notice also in my coaching is, yeah, what is the value of the food? So most of the people, how do you say it, save their money on food, but not on their holidays and not on their, I don't know, uh, whatever. And so, for example, people save on their bag of carrots, but spend 10,000 to the golf course, for example, or their car, or whatever. So for me, yeah, what is value? Value is, for me, I'm eating it. Okay, the carrot of the bag of carrots of €3 instead of the commercially bag of 50 cents. The €3 give me a lot of more energy, mental clarity, uh, no bloating, or whatever. So for me, then it's an investment instead of a cost. So I try always to change the minds and thinking of people from what is worth. It's not only worth in money, but it is worth in health and all the benefits
Yeah, yeah, I
for
agree with
health.
you 100%. And so, like, what is your? Can you take me through like a day or a week of what do you eat? Like, like how is your nutrition when it comes to taking care of yourself with these superfoods and stuff? Like,
Do you want to know the difference also in the past and now, or
yeah, yeah,
just,
yeah, like
yeah?
the
So
past.
yeah, so for example, all this knowledge that I have now, I didn't have it. My parents didn't have it. My grandparents' parents didn't have it. So it's not a judgment, because we are programmed with the wrong information, right? So it's not to blame ourselves, but yeah, in that time, in our closet at home, we
Hmm.
had a lot of cookies, chips, bars, sweets, and if I went to the fridge, there was a lot of uh, packages and bottles with a lot of sugar in it. We had cakes, and we had dairy, pasteurized dairy, and I don't know, Coca-Cola, everything, all that crap we are denied. And we eat a lot of bread. And I ate also a lot of carbs, but fast burning carbs. So pasta, white rice, white potatoes, and everything. That was what I ate, and I had to eat a lot during the day. So I could remember that I ate 3, 4 times a day with a plate like this, and still 1 or 2 hours later I was hungry. But now I know because it was empty, empty calories. Now since 10 years, I'm eating biodynamic, and for example, a piece of chicken thighs related to the commercially farm was big because there's a lot of water in it, pumped water in it, and the biodynamic is really small. And the same, it accounts for the vegetables and everything. So my plate is smaller, but I'm more satiated,
Satisfied. Yes.
satiated.
Yeah.
I don't have stomach aches. I don't have an energy dip after eating. But since 6 months, with eating the biodynamic organic superfoods, so for example, I've my shake here. This is a meal replacement. It contains a lot of algae, sprouts, vegetables, rice bran solubles to trigger my fat burning hormones. But since 6 months that I eat my superfoods, I just do fasting. You know what it means?
And you said intermittent fasting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it's when you fast for most of the day and you only eat within 8 hours, right?
Yeah. So for example, my last meal is now at 8 o'clock, and then I'm going to sleep, and then the next day at 12 in the, how do you say it, midday, I break my fast.
At
So
noon?
yes, yeah, at noon. So I have a 16-hour break from eating, and then the first thing I eat or drink actually is this power shake with a lot of healthy stuff in it, and I only do that, and then 4, 5, 6 hours later, I take one meal, and one meal with solid foods, but bio organic, but still not a plate like in the past. So yeah, it's becoming smaller, but yeah, my body doesn't need it anymore. I'm really fulfilled. Yeah.
So basically, you basically taken out all the artificial sugars, like everything that's processed. You only eat the superfoods, which is, I'm assuming you said it's a meal replacement shake. So you drink a lot of that like throughout the week, and that replacement shake has you said algae, arugula,
Yeah, sprouts. So
sprouts.
sprouts, algae, spirulina, slow burning carbs like buckwheat,
Mm,
quinoa, chia seeds, rice bran solubles. So that's a fiber. Yeah, and a lot more. And there's a lot of life force in it because, for example, sprouts, before a plant becomes a plant, the sprouts are just like the mother's milk. Like in the sprouts are most of the life force. So they need it to grow. So all of that is in this shake. The shake is also non-GMO, no sugar, no artificial colors, binders, no soy, no gluten, no dairy. So it's real clean. It's pure and pure premium food. And I also got some supplements. So this is the shake, but I also got supplements like amino acids.
mm-hmm.
They are everything is 100% plant-based.
Right.
of this company and line. And the amino acids are really interesting because they are 100% plant-based,
Hmm.
pre-digested. So, and I don't know, amino acids are building blocks of proteins, and you need
Yeah,
proteins to, yeah.
yeah.
So most of the people have a lack of protein, have a lack of protein. These proteins will be absorbed in 23 minutes in the bloodstream. So that is really fast.
Yeah, because it's plant based. You know, a lot of people don't know that. You know, especially here in the states. You know, everybody's has too much protein from eating too much meat, and they don't realize that meat is one source of protein, which is true, right? But you actually get a lot more protein from eating a lot more vegetables because it's not only more efficient going through your body and your intestines, but you know, like you said, it digests faster. You feel it. You feel the energy more. Your body doesn't have to feel drained trying to digest it and break it down. Whereas eating too much meat, you know, causes a lot of intestinal issues. You know, your body, because of how big your intestines are, isn't really meant to have meat in it for such a long period of time being digested. You know, and but you said yourself you still eat meat, but you eat like uh, organic.
I eat quality meat. I don't eat meat every day. Yeah, so I'm really aware because I also want to know that the animals are not raised close together in stress in their own shit and everything, and treated with respect on a soil which is treated with respect because, yeah, we call it the closed organic cycle. The soil is important. The plants live off the soil, the live off the plants, and we as humans live off the plants and the animals. So you are literally what you eat. So that's why it's so important to know what is the source of where everything is coming from. And for example, with proteins, so okay, let's we eat a organic steak. Even if we eat an or bio-organic steak, okay, that is good. But maybe 36% of the proteins, the body will be able to absorb that. So that means that 67% is hard work for the body and the organs to, how do you say it, excrete, to get rid of it. And the plant protein I'm talking about, I have, is 99% will be absorbed. So that means that only 1% is waste. So the body doesn't have to work. There's no stress. And yeah, that is of course most important, because most of our lives and days in our society, we live in a state of stress. Our sympathetic nervous system is most of the time activated. So it's just like we are always have to run or fight with the lion, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
therefore, it's important that we try to get our minds and bodies more in a parasympathetic state, that is of growth and repair.
Hmm. Oh yeah, that's very true because um you know that it's good to know a lot of these things and how your body really works, you know, because like you explained it, you are what you eat, right? And um everything from where the land that it grows in and the soil, you know, all matters. You know, I was reading a book where they were talking about how humans from the ancient times used to uh, give energy to the plants. You know, like, you know, they used to meditate in front of it. They used to treat animals with respect. It always kind of reminds me of like that movie Avatar, you know, where like, you know, when they actually hunting, they have respect for the animal and therefore energy goes back into them when they eat it and consume it, right? And now like people don't really care about those things, you know, they want everything so freaking fast. And you know, they don't realize that in the long run, you know, it's gonna create such a tremendous toll on your body, you know, and it's going to be even harder for your body to recover from all the damage from years and years of eating crap, of eating the fast way, the easy way, you know. And I was going to ask you, so like with what you do with your personal coaching, if someone wanted to like you know, start to change the way that they live their life through, you know, their foods and stuff like that, like what's the process that you would take them through?
Yeah, normally I my philosophy is based on somebody who's really inspiring me. Paul Chek, he's from San Diego. He's got his own Chek Institute, and he calls himself an holistic health practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
So he practices it. So most of our so-called experts tell us everything, but they are not experienced experts. So he has a philosophy, and it's not his own. It's just ancient knowledge, natural law that he got to him, and he's tried to simplify it for us humans. I work with the 6 foundation principles. So I try to teach people the 6 foundation principles of health and well-being. And the first thing is the mind or thinking, but then we mean the power of thought. And in the universe are 2 forces, fear and
Love.
People say hate, but it's fear and love. Okay, that is the one thing. You have to understand the concept, because from my experience, I totally lived in fear until I got my depression. And because I live in fear, all of my thoughts, all of my words, all of my deeds, all of my actions are out of fear. So if you can live out of love, your mind out of love, that is open, that is learning, that is growing, that is totally different way of living.
Okay.
Now the second thing is we need oxygen. If we don't have oxygen, then we wouldn't have this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So breathing is really important. So breath work is really important. And the most simple thing of breath work is most of the people, because we are in a sympathetic state, fight or flight, we unconsciously have a breath that is high in our chest. But in this situation, a normal breath is a belly breath, right? So 2/3 of belly, and then later on 1/3 of chest. So that is the most basic stuff. You can do a lot of advanced breath work, but one of the first things I try people to learn that, okay, try to breathe in 2/3 belly, 1/3 breast. Okay, do that lying down or whatever feels comfortable, and become aware of that, and become aware that if you are talking, if you are somewhere and you observe your breath, then you know if you are in a stress state or if you're relaxed. Now the third principle is hydration. Most of the people drink coffee, soda, tea, fruit juices or whatever, but our body is mostly consists of water. Mm-hmm. So our body doesn't consist of Coca-Cola, right? So drink water, stay hydrated. So one formula, but it's 1/3 of your body weight is what you daily need to drink, only to keep your vital functions functioning. So for example, if you weight 100 kilos, you multiply it with 0.033, and that's 3.3 liters. So somebody of 100 kilos has to drink 3 liters of water, but only to maintain their vital function. So if it's hot, if the weather is hot, if you experience a lot of mental, emotional stress, if you work out, maybe you have to drink 1 liter above it, and
Mhm.
then people become, that's a lot of water. But yeah, so that is what I teach people in the beginning, and then we talk already about the nutrition, about superfoods, everything that has to do with nutrition, superfoods, supplements. The highest quality of nutrition is nowadays biodynamic, organic, or wild. But wild, yeah, in urban environments, where can we find wild food? So for me, therefore, this my superfood shop with this is a real easy, convenient, super fast food, which, yeah, you can add 2 scoops and you drink it, and you get the highest quality of nutrition. That's also one of the reasons the company was, how do you say it, developed 30 years ago, because they saw the situation in the States, and then they had the idea to, how can we provide as many people as possible with the highest quality food, and which is convenient for them but healthy. So that the source of it is important. And then sleep, of course. Sleep is free, right?
Mhm.
Sleep is free. So sleep is essential in everything. It's even more essential than moving in the first place, and exercising. So I teach people what are circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms has to do with the 24-hour cycle in the rising of the sun and when the sun goes down. It's related to cortisol. Cortisol is activated naturally in the body when the sun rises, and melatonin has to be activated when it's getting dark. Okay, then I tell people, but we live in a superficial, in an artificial world, because when it's becoming dark, we sit behind our laptop and we have our mobile phones and we have artificial light, but our body thinks that's sunlight, so it makes cortisol. So it thinks, oh, I have to wake up, I have to be active. And
Mhm.
yeah, and cortisol, between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. in the morning, cortisol levels in a natural way, because the sun rises, is highest. But at noon already, in a natural way of living, your cortisol levels already have to lower down to 6 p.m. at, dependent on wintertime, summertime, and in where you are in the world. But then it has to be low. But because we are constantly in the sympathetic state of fight or flight, because of stress, deadlines, worrying about my relationship, about money, um, exercising very hard when it's already dark outside, the body is making cortisol, and cortisol's activation is, yeah. So do I explain it good
Oh
in
yeah,
this way?
yeah, yeah. I get it. Like so, basically, just to reiterate, the 6 principles that you follow is the first one is the mind is conquering, having a balance between your fear and doing things out of fear and doing things out of love, right?
Yeah.
The second thing is, you said, uh, it's breath, right? Breathing. And then third thing is the foods,
Hydration.
hydration, water, right? Drinking enough water, which is also very important. A lot of people don't know that you need a certain amount of water in your body throughout the day, because our bodies is 70% water, which is very important. The fourth is foods, right? And the fifth is sleep. And what's the sixth?
What's 6?
What is six? Huh? Taking care of yourself?
I mentioned it, but I didn't name the point already as a point. But
Um, hmm. Number
movement,
Huh?
movement,
Oh, being active.
being active, movement.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Which is why you
That's
went into
also,
the cortisol and the melatonin. Okay, okay.
yeah. Because movement, most of the people also conditioned and programming, because we see a lot of professional games of on television, on internet and everything, and everybody of us thinks, okay, if we have to train, we have to be like that. But
Mhm.
most of the people are in so much stress. I don't know if you can imagine, but when I had my depression and I was really unhappy and I didn't have the energy and I could train what I want, I could do a workout what if I want, but my body wasn't capable of working out.
Right.
So we also make the distinction between work in and work out. So
Right.
work out is working out, spending energy. So spending energy is you will be able to spend energy if you have a lot of energy. Then you can train hard, you can do CrossFit, you can sprint or whatever. Yeah. But if you're not, if your body is not capable of doing that, then I always advise to do work in exercises, accumulate energy. So, for example, yoga, stretching, mobilization, tai chi, just walking. I bought a dog. I have two dogs because of that, because I was stressed out and I knew, okay, I want to go to nature. I want to do that. So if I buy a dog, I have to let the dogs out, right? So that's my way of taking care of myself, because I love myself so much. That is necessary for me. So walking, slow jogging, and everything. So yeah, that is in the essence what I try to teach people about exercising and movement. That gives you a lot of power, because when I wake up this morning, for example, and I felt like a truck has, how do you say it?
Like a truck.
Already me. I don't know if I say it like that, but yeah. And I have to carry myself to the gym, and I thinking, oh no, I'm going to torture myself in the gym. Yeah, then my body's already telling, okay, do a work in, right? So it's really, it's in the essence is really simple, but the
Right.
difficult part is that we are programmed too much in our minds and heads and not in feeling.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's food, if it's exercising and we have to feel more, because our body knows what's needed. And those are the six foundation principles. But we can also add two things, I guess, to it. We can also add relationships to it, healthy relationships or not, because I think all of us can imagine unhealthy relationships and what kind of stressor that is in our life and for our bodies and our minds. So yeah, choose wisely your relations, work or whatever, or customers or partner. And I think the most important thing, and that is before the why, before it's thinking, is to find your why. So what is your dream, or what is your purpose, or what is your legacy? Because everything under it, which we discussed, lifestyle factors, choices, everything, if you got your dream clear, then you want to be healthy, energized to live that dream. And then for me, that's why health is coming in. So health is not the main goal. Health is a tool so that I can live my dream and manifest or create my dreams.
Yeah, I agree with that too because what you said, the why is very important because even if you have these six principles of mentality, breathing, drinking water, eating food, sleeping, movement, none of it matters unless you have a very important reason within yourself to want to do it. You have to want to make your life better, and you're not, and the thing about us as human beings is that we need like this big purpose this feeling of importance, of meaning for us to even want to take care of our own selves. Because when we are depressed, it's like we go into this like suicidal mode where like it's like, nobody cares about me, so
I drink cola and
yeah, I know. Like I remember when I went through my time frame of being depressed. It was after I got out of the military. I felt this feeling of hopelessness. Like, what the hell am I gonna do with my life? And it was very hard because it's like, you all you hear is like a negative version of yourself in your head, and you try to comfort that voice by drinking cola, eating pizza, eating chips, playing video games.
how do you say it? It's numbing. It's numb.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
say
like it's
yeah,
like you're trying to numb yourself, like
yeah,
you're by comforting yourself with all these addictive products and
yeah,
things, like you're self-sabotaging your life,
yeah. And
basically.
then you can, and then it's more difficult to. We talked about thinking, so that is, in my opinion, also the reason why our society is like that. Because if our body um, needs the most attention, and then I mean that it's not clear. There's a lot of complaints, injuries. Um, then our intention goes to there, but intention is not going to what is my dream? How do I see it clear? And do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you, my body is my is sacred, like it's like my temple, yeah, my body temple.
Hmm.
Now for 10 years, I know it more and more, and now I can create my dreams. But when I was before that, my body was toxic and everything. So my mind was also toxic. So I uh, couldn't think clear,
No, it's
and I couldn't think about what is like. So that is the importance of health and nutrition and all the things we said. I think it's deeper because it's about a human consciousness, our awareness, because then we can really research and investigate who we truly are. So for me, it's more a spiritual thing. This body is a vehicle. I want to treat it so that it can perform at its best, but I need it to be mentally clear because what who I really am. And I think that we are all consciousness, but yeah, if the body is distracting, then
no, yeah, it's true. It's true. But yeah, man, I mean, this was a really good conversation. I know that we're running short on time here, so I want to conclude with the fact that, I hope that a lot of the people who see this video, see the importance of not only knowing your reason or your purpose for wanting to have a healthy lifestyle, but also to see that it's really, it could be complicated, but if you really care about yourself, if you really truly love yourself and love what you want to do in your life, then taking care of yourself should be easy. It should be something that you want to do every single day. I hope that people take that away from this video, just watching us have a conversation about it. Because even though weed makes you happy, it makes you high, weed doesn't give you all the natural nutritions. You have to have a balance in everything. So, but it was really great talking to you, man. Like it's always awesome, like hearing your knowledge and your wisdom and your way of life.
nice man. I really grateful that I could tell my story, and maybe we can jump on the call again later on.
Yeah, definitely. I even, once I get enough, fans, so, for everybody watching, if you love me that much, support me, because I would love to like do like a podcast tour where like I go visit all my guests and even go over there and I can actually sit down with you, you
But
know.
I will come over to you too, eh?
Well, yeah, you can come over here too, we can have a conversation, we can eat certain foods. I'm a chef too, so you know we can like probably show people how to make certain things, you know, that'll be good for them. But yeah, I definitely look forward to it. We're definitely gonna talk again. You know, I'm pretty sure people are gonna want to see you, and I'm gonna put like links in the video so that people can reach out to you if they're interested in knowing more about what you do and things like that.
Okay, then I will give you the links. I will app them to you, or I put it in Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, yeah, send them to me to Facebook Messenger. But all right, man. Well, it was nice talking to you. We'll talk soon, Ezra. We're always catching up and stuff like that. But you know, thank you for your being here and having this conversation with me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Thanks.
All right, man. Have a good one. Be blessed.
Be
Bye.
blessed. Bye.
So, what do you guys think of that? My man Ezra is, well, I mean, he doesn't like calling himself an expert, but I like calling him an expert because we've had conversations in the past about nutrition, and me being having a background in personal training, and also I like to cook. You know, it's very important to, you know, find out what are the better ways to make your life more healthy, you know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully you reach out to him if you're interested in like learning more about nutrition, learning about the superfoods that he consumes that makes him look so happy and so energetic. I love this guy. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. Not every episode is gonna be about smoking. So I know you guys gonna see me smoke, but it's because I can't smoke here. You know, it's not my home. But more on that later, or not. Now I'm being awkward. Well, anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Catch you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Love you guys. See you on the next episode.